Friday night. I was in the corner of my own damn living room, sipping tap water while five guys in tailored suits passed around a bottle of bourbon that I paid for, laughing, leaning back like they owned the place. Technically, I owned them. Kara sat across the room, perched on the arm of Derek's chair like she belonged there, her bare legs crossed, her fingers brushing his shoulder. She looked like the queen of the night, glowing, smug. She didn't glance my way once. Derek, the boldest of the bunch, flashed that fake boyish smile and said, "So, Mark, still between gigs?" They all laughed like it was brand new. I smiled, same as always, like I'd heard it 100 times. I raised my glass of water and nodded. Yeah, something like that. Quick note, before listening, share which city or country you're watching from. Kara smirked behind her wine glass. She could have shut it down. She didn't. Been trying, she said, laughing. Bless his heart. That one hit harder than it should have. I sat quiet, staring at the wall behind them. Every piece of art they admired, I bought it. Every imported lamp and overpriced accent table, mine. But from the way they acted, you'd think Kara was bankrolling it all, and I was just a warm body on the couch. Derek poured more bourbon and went into one of his dumb stories about winning over a new client by trash-talking, inefficient consultants. His eyes landed on me during that last part. I didn't flinch, just nodded like I was impressed. The others kept it going. Jokes about private jets, private islands, private deals. One of them, Greg, bragged about overbilling a client so badly the guy still didn't know. Kara laughed like that was charming. My jaw clenched, but I kept my grip loose around the glass. Couldn't let them see a damn thing, because tomorrow morning, they'd all be sitting across from me. By this time tomorrow, I'd be walking into their conference room. Same smile, same look. But I'd be holding the knife. And Kara, she'd be front row for all of it. Let's see how funny it is then. 12 years ago, I watched my dad cry for the first time in my life. Not at a funeral, not in pain. He was standing in the middle of his shop while some corporate lawyer handed him a final notice. They stripped him of everything. Tools, lifts, even the damn vending machine. Big Chain Auto Center moved in 2 months later. I still remember the sign going up. Bright, clean, heartless. I promised myself I'd never get caught on the weak side of power again. That's when I started building Stone Ridge Capital. Quiet, intentional, everything in shadows. I didn't want a name on a plaque or some fake respect from people who only smile when they know your title. I built it through layers, proxy owners, offshore holdings, shells inside shells. My face was never on a single dock. My real name didn't touch a single asset. My guys called me Ghost behind closed doors. I like that. It took years, but Stone Ridge got big. Bulletproof big. We didn't do press, we didn't do headlines. We just bought companies, cleaned out rot, and multiplied value, all while the front men smiled for the cameras. Then 7 years ago, I met Kara, charity golf event in Denver. I showed up in khakis, rented clubs, and a dusty Corolla, played like crap. She loved it. Said I was refreshing. Told me she hated flashy guys who only cared about money. I told her I was a freelance consultant, floating between contracts, trying to find something steady. That got her attention. Said she admired ambition in modest packages. We dated. She brought me around her office friends like I was her little rescue project, always cracking jokes about how I couldn't afford the wine. I laughed it off. Let her think she picked a fixer-upper. 2 years in, we got married. I let her think she picked the house. She didn't know the deed was in a trust I created 10 years earlier. She didn't ask. She assumed. She moved in, filled the place with throw pillows and designer crap, and started telling people she was paying for everything. That I was lucky to have her. Fine. Let her talk. Redmond Consulting loved her energy. She climbed fast. Made friends. That's when Derek and the others showed up. First as coworkers, then as drinking buddies. Next thing I knew, she was gone most nights. Dinners, networking, late meetings. They'd joke in front of me, call her the breadwinner, say I was trying his best while patting me on the back like I was a sad puppy. Every single time they laughed, I smiled. Because while they were busy climbing their little ladder, I was building my own case. I had a full team working quietly behind the scenes. Former IRS guys, tech nerds, and a retired cop who knew how to ask questions without ever getting caught. They dug through expense accounts, internal emails, phone records, found shady dinners billed under client numbers, Found Derek double-dipping contracts. Found 2 of them funneling side money through dummy vendors. And Kara? She wasn't clean either. Vacation tickets gifted by a client that later got a Redmond contract. Her signature all over it. I logged everything. Dated. Time-stamped. For years, I let them dig their own graves. They thought I was harmless. Background noise. That was the point. Because when the day came, and it was coming, I didn't want revenge. I wanted receipts. And I had them. Saturday morning, 6 a.m. Redmond's glass lobby was dark and dead quiet. I stood outside the front doors in a wrinkled blazer, guest badge clipped to my collar, and loafers that hadn't seen polish in years. Looked like hell, felt sharp. Security barely glanced at me, buzzed me in. I took the back stairwell up to the 3rd floor where my guy Trent was already waiting. Gray suit, coffee in hand, calm, like it was just another day at the office. Conference room's ready, he said, nodding down the hallway. They think it's a performance review. Kara's team's got no clue. I nodded. No words needed. We didn't hang around. No small talk. At 6:30, I was behind the scenes in Redmond's main boardroom. Room B12, corner glass, their favorite ego cave. Trent handed me the clicker, then left to round up the team. By 8:55, chairs were filling up. Derek, Liam, Todd, Greg, Sean, all rolled in like it was just another routine backpat meeting. Fake grins, fresh suits, still drunk on their own arrogance. They didn't notice me standing in the shadows behind the divider. At exactly 9 SU, Kara breezed in late with her usual overpriced coffee and that tired smirk she wore around people she thought were beneath her. She spotted me by the windows and let out a short laugh. "Someone get him a seat before he slips back into unemployment," she said. Nobody laughed. I stepped forward and pulled the chair at the head of the table out. "Actually," I said, dropping the guest badge on the floor, "I'll take the head." I tossed a thick folder onto the table hard enough to echo. Silence. The top page slid halfway out. Redmond's ownership transfer papers. Sealed. Stamped. Legal. Derek leaned forward, squinting at the header. "What the hell is this?" "Your severance package," I said. "But we'll get to that." I clicked the projector remote. Screen dropped from the ceiling. First slide lit up. Mexico account, March to July. Unbilled invoices, flagged expenses. Kara's jaw flexed. Her hand tightened on her cup. "Let's talk about these fake invoices," I said, stepping closer. Calm, steady. "Then we'll move on to the client dinners that never happened. And the cash bonuses you all split from that telecom vendor." Greg opened his mouth. Nothing came out. Todd looked at the exit. Kara stood halfway, voice shaky. "This isn't... Whatever you think this is," I held up a hand. "Sit. This is going to take a while." She sat. Slide 2, hit. Screenshots of Derek's personal email, bragging about cooking client books. His face drained of color. I circled the table slowly, letting the silence cook them alive. "You're probably wondering how," I said. "How I got this. How I'm in this room. Why I'm the one standing here instead of some compliance officer." Nobody said a word. A Stone Ridge Capital acquired Redmond as of yesterday. Clean buyout. My firm, my team, my rules. Kara's mouth opened again, then closed. Eyes darted between me and the screen, like she was watching a nightmare she couldn't shake. "You all walked into this room thinking you were bulletproof," I said. "You thought you were the company." I clicked again. Slide 3. Audio transcript, April 12th, Derek and Liam. "Who's gonna stop us?" They both flinched. This is your stop," I said. I stepped back, let the audio play. Derek's voice came through the speakers, loud and clear, laughing about screwing over a junior associate who got too nosy. Everyone stared at him. Kara looked like she wanted to melt into her chair. I turned to Trent at the door. "Lock it." He nodded and closed it behind him. Nobody was leaving. The room went quiet after Derek's voice finished echoing off the walls. Nobody breathed. Nobody blinked. That was my cue. I hit the next slide. Emails. Dozens. Maybe hundreds. Each one worse than the last. Liam billing luxury hotels to a charity client. Todd copying confidential proposals to pitch side deals under a fake LLC. Sean sending private client info to Derek at 2 a.m. with a winking comment about fast money. "We can explain this," Greg said, voice cracking. "Then start," I said. He didn't. I opened the folder and dropped a stack of expense reports on the table. Let's go through these. One by one, I flipped the first page. A dinner with clients at a steakhouse in Manhattan. Except the client was in Phoenix that night. I played the recorded bar audio my team pulled from their last boys' night. Their voices filled the room, laughing, cussing, bragging about how easy it was to sneak charges past finance. Todd groaned. "Turn that off!" Not a chance. Slide after slide hit them like body shots. A graph showing missing funds, screenshots of fake vendors, even a clip of Derek joking about firing the little people to keep bonuses high. Kara pushed her chair back. I didn't know about any of this. I reached for the remote and played the next video. Her voice came out clear, slurred from wine. She was leaning against Derek in some bar booth. "Mark couldn't run a lemonade stand," she said. "Good thing he's harmless." She closed her eyes like she could erase it. That was taken out of context. "No," I said. "That was exactly in context." Trent stepped in then, followed by our lawyer, Denise. Sharp bob, navy suit, all business. She placed a stack of envelopes on the table and started handing them out like test papers. "Effective immediately. Your employment with Redmond is terminated," she said. "Your access has been revoked. Phones are locked. You have 15 minutes to collect your belongings under supervision." "You can't fire all of us," Derek snapped. "I already did," I said. Kara stood. "You can't do this. I'm your wife." "Not after today." I slid a manila envelope across the table toward her. She stared at it for a long second before touching it like it might burn her fingers. "What is this?" "Divorce papers and the prenup you signed. Remember? You thought it didn't matter because I didn't have anything." Her face drained. "You lied to me every day," I said. "And you never noticed." Security arrived. 2 guys in black polos, calm and professional. They opened the door and waited. Derek jumped to his feet. "This is a joke. We're not leaving." "You don't have cause?" I clicked to the final slide. Screenshots of each of their text messages from last night. Panicked, sloppy, talking about moving things, cleaning accounts, and getting ahead of any audit. "You all tried to resign," I said. "I accepted." Sean slammed his fist on the table. "You planned this, down to the minute." One by one, they filed out with security shadowing them. Kara walked last, envelope clutched to her chest like a life vest with holes in it. In the hallway, Greg turned and flipped me off, face red, eyes wild. I smiled and pointed to the cameras overhead. "They got that too." Security nudged him forward. His hand dropped fast. I stood in the doorway watching them get escorted through the glass hall like brand new interns on their first day. Except this was their last, and they knew it. Kara didn't look back. Good. I shut the door behind them and walked toward the head of the table, the room still humming with the ghosts of their excuses. Time for cleanup. I didn't leave the building. By 2 that afternoon, I was in the executive conference room again. New group this time. Directors, senior staff, team leads. Some looked nervous, others pissed. A few looked straight up relieved. I stood at the head, same spot. No projector this time. Just me, a notepad, and a pen. "I know this morning was loud," I said. "It had to be." One guy, Rahul from operations, raised his hand. "Is it true? They're really gone?" "Every last one of them," I said. "Redmond's clean now, but staying clean is a group effort." That set the tone. I answered questions, gave them enough truth without over-explaining. Some asked if they still had jobs. Others didn't wait. They just stood up and walked out. I didn't stop them. Let them go. Dead weight cuts itself if you give it space. By 3:30, Trent and our finance lead were upstairs, freezing every account tied to the execs we fired. Corporate cards, travel accounts, access tokens, gone. Kara called me 12 times. I let every call ring out. I watched her on our security feed, packing up her crap from the office in a panic, heels clicking across the tile like gunshots. She didn't cry, not in front of anyone. Just shoved her framed awards and files into a tote bag like they meant something. By sunset, she was gone. A contact notified me later that she was seen standing outside a rundown porch in Aurora, ringing her mom's doorbell. I moved on. First thing I did was schedule interviews with the people they bullied. Admins, analysts. A junior sales guy named Mason, who'd been sidelined for 2 years for pushing back on fake numbers. Promotions were coming. My inbox blew up with resumes from good people. ones who'd quit or been pushed out by Kara's crew. I read everyone, made a pile. I signed off on 250 grand in settlement bonuses for the whistleblowers who stuck it out through all the crap. One woman broke down crying on a Zoom call when Trent told her, said she could finally pay off her husband's hospital bills. That's the kind of call I like. Culture was next. We gutted everything. New ethics policy, mandatory training, anonymous reporting lines. Real ones, not the fake suggestion box crap they'd been pretending to care about. Weekly open-door hours with me, posted publicly. No appointments needed, walk in, talk, be heard. And I put my face on the site, first time. Right there under CEO, name, bio, photo, no more heating, no more masks. The fake consultant Kara used to drag around like a purse ornament, he didn't exist anymore. This company was under new management now. Mine. It took less than 48 hours for the fireworks to start. Kara went first. A crying selfie on Instagram with a caption about betrayal and living a lie. No names, but everyone knew. 10 minutes later, Derek posted some fake-ass legalese on LinkedIn, accusing me of fraudulent acquisition tactics and employee intimidation. Then the others joined in. A group effort, lies stacked like Jenga blocks. We were ready. My PR lead dropped our statement the same afternoon. One sentence, bold and clean. Raynard Consulting stands by its zero-tolerance policy on workplace misconduct. That was it. No details, no names, just a mirror. And people started looking into it. Former Redmond employees lit up the comment sections. One woman said she'd been forced to take PTO for a miscarriage. Another posted screenshots of Greg mocking a client's accent in Slack. Reddit caught fire. Whole threads popped up under "Our Consulting Hell." Titles like "The Fall of the Redmond Five" and "Turns out the jobless husband was the boss." Then Kara's mom posted a 5-minute video from her kitchen in that same broken-down house I'd seen on the security feed. My daughter was lied to, she said, manipulated, made to look like a villain by a man who tricked her into marrying beneath her. I watched it once. That was enough. She wasn't lied to. She just never asked the right questions. Meanwhile, Derek started sniffing around our old client list. My ops guy flagged 2 calls to firms Redmond serviced last year, trying to poach business under the table. I had legal send a cease and desist by courier. Hour later, we emailed each client a copy of the fraud documentation tied to Derek's expense abuse and false reporting. No one called back. That night, all 5 of them met up at a steakhouse in Jersey. Loud place. Booths too close together. Real classy. What they didn't know was the busboy working their section was on our payroll. My team had placed him there last week just in case. He had a mic clipped under his apron and a phone recording in his back pocket. The audio was gold, slurred voices, bragging. "They don't know the half of it," Liam said. "We should have nuked that damn server," Todd muttered. "I still have a list of vendors. We could feed it to their competitors," Derek said. Then Kara, soft but clear. "Mark doesn't deserve what he got, but I'll burn it down before I let him win." The next morning, I had the whole file on my desk before coffee. I forwarded it to the SEC, then sent a blind copy to every one of our top competitors. Nothing fancy, just a subject line that read, "You're welcome." 2 hours later, I got the first email back. "We won't touch them. Appreciate the heads up." After that, silence. No more calls, no more threats, no more stage breakdowns on social. I didn't say a word publicly, didn't need to. The truth moved faster than their noise. By that weekend, nobody wanted to be associated with them. They weren't ex-executives anymore. They were radioactive. 3 weeks later, they weren't making noise anymore. Their accounts were flagged by investigators, and transactions started getting blocked. The SEC flagged the stock dump they attempted after being fired, thinking they could salvage cash before investigations hit. Their lawyers didn't stick around. The moment payments stalled, those high-powered firms dropped them like hot bricks. I got a call from someone in Kara's building. Said her car got towed in broad daylight, flatbed and all, repossessed. Couple hours later, my finance lead flagged 3 separate denied credit card charges in her name. Grocery store, pharmacy, some mid-tier clothing outlet. That's when I knew the spiral had started. One by one, they all tried to land somewhere else. Sean applied at a firm in Chicago. Todd reached out to a recruiter in Dallas. Derek tried offering consulting services to one of our old clients in Miami. Each of them got the same silent treatment. Word spreads fast when the receipts are real. I didn't campaign. I didn't gossip. I just let the facts breathe. Let their own words move through the industry like smoke from a grease fire. Quiet justice. Just how I like it. Kara didn't reach out to me directly. She sent her sister. Got a text out of nowhere. Kara says she just wants to talk. 10 minutes. In person. I stared at the screen for a full minute, then typed 2 words and hit send. Speak through counsel. No reply after that. Redmond was alive again. Better, faster, focused. We brought in 6 new hires that month. 2 from firms Kara's crew used to trash. 3 from referrals. 1 internal. That last one stuck with me. He was one of the janitors. Cleaned the West Wing after hours. Always quiet. Always nodding when I walked past. Trent pulled me aside one night and said, "You know he has an engineering degree, right?" I didn't. Turns out he graduated top 10 in his class. Got laid off during the pandemic. Applied here 3 times under Kara's leadership. She tossed his resume. I brought him into my office the next morning. "You want a shot?" I asked. He nodded without hesitation. "Then show me what you got." He's now on our product development team. Sharpest mind in the room. Just needed a damn door to walk through. Same week, I got an email from a former intern. Subject line, "Thank you." Said she was planning to quit the day before the terminations. Said the culture was toxic, the bullying non-stop, and no one believed her complaints. She ended with, "I didn't think anyone was ever going to clean house. You did." I leaned back in my chair after that, looked over at the wall-mounted screen we used for market updates. Redmond's ticker was climbing. Nothing wild, nothing flashy, just steady. 2 months in, the place felt brand new. People actually smiled in the hallways now. Meetings ran on time. No more fake laughs, no more walking on eggshells. Just real work, real people, real results. I had Trent send out an anonymous internal survey. Results came back strong. Harassment reports down 90%. Attrition rate cut in half. We were done bleeding. First thing I did after that was call in 3 women from Kara's old division. Sharp, experienced, and overlooked for years. I gave them each a promotion. 1 into strategic accounts, 1 into compliance, and 1 straight into a director role. Best move I've made. One of them pulled me aside and said, "I thought I'd have to leave to be taken seriously." "Not anymore," I told her. "You're home." Morale shot through the roof after that. It was like people could finally breathe again. Then came the big one. A federal agency we'd been chasing for years greenlit our bid. $42 million contract. Long-term, high visibility. Locked in. The press picked it up. First headline said, "Redmond, from corruption to comeback." Another called us a turnaround story worth watching. I didn't give interviews. I didn't pose for the camera, but I approved the PR campaign. Clean, bold, 3 words. Built, broken, reborn. Clients loved it, especially the ones who'd almost walked when Kara and her crew were in charge. Now, they were doubling down. Referrals rolled in. Projects expanded. I started getting more meeting requests from people I'd never even heard of. Analysts, engineers, support staff who'd stuck it out under the old leadership. They came in with notebooks full of ideas, and I listened every damn time. I told my assistant, if someone's brave enough to walk into this office with a plan, they deserve 5 minutes. Doesn't matter their title. Doesn't matter their past. One guy from IT pitched a custom automation tool that could shave off 200 man-hours a month. We built it. He's leading the team now. Another woman from compliance flagged a loophole in our vendor policy. Said she spotted it last year, but Kara's crew laughed her out of the room. I gave her a raise on the spot. And, yeah, every now and then, I'd hear whispers. Greg, the one who bragged the loudest, is now a temp at a mid-tier firm in Cincinnati, pushing paper, no desk, no benefits, just a badge and a folding table. Kara, word is she's shopping a memoir, some garbage title like Sleeping Next to a Stranger or The Jobless Husband Who Wasn't. Her sister reached out again, something about reclaiming her story. I made one call, quiet one. Her wedding ring slid into my palm, light as air. A note folded behind it, written in her loopy script. I was wrong. That was it. No apology, no explanation, just 3 words, 6 months too late. I walked over to the shredder, dropped the note and the ring in together. No hesitation. Watched it grind into dust and metal fragments. "Boss," my assistant said, stepping in like she hadn't just seen that. "That supplier you liked, the one Kara's team blacklisted for not kissing ass?" I turned from the shredder. "Hire him." She nodded and left. I walked down the hallway and stopped in front of the employee wall. Portraits lined up clean and tight, one after another. All of them promoted since the takeover. Not one of them got there by playing games or kissing up. Every face on that wall earned it. Right in the center, the janitor turned engineer. Still couldn't believe nobody had seen what he could do before. Last week, he got his first patent approved. His name's on it. Company name too. He's already drafting his next one. I pulled up my email and scrolled through a flagged message. Some guy, you can see it in their eyes. They've heard the whispers, seen the Reddit threads, maybe watched that old bar footage someone leaked. "Is it true?" they'll ask, careful but curious. I'd shrug. "Depends what you heard. Never confirm, never deny. Let the myth do the heavy lifting." That Friday I left early, picked up my nephew from school. He climbed into the truck all full of energy, asking about gears and engines like I used to with my dad. We drove across town to the old garage, my dad's shop. It was still there, dusty, empty, windows fogged with age. The sign had long since fallen off, but the frame still hung crooked above the door. I pulled out the plaque I had made, brass, clean, heavy in my hands. I knelt down and screwed it into the wall myself, in memory of the first man I watched lose everything. This time, I made sure they did.